Bueno, vamos a continuar aquí con el nonsense. Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Rising. No es Solid, es Rising. Revengeance. Vale. No te creo. A ver. Aquí el helicóptero.
A cyborg equipped with a slider. Hard to target, yes, but they must also be limited by aerodynamic force. Use rockets or guided missiles, or just jump up and cut them down. Either will work fine.
Boris, any idea where they're getting the money to fund this operation? Assembling this many cyborgs can't come cheap. Not to mention getting them all here.
There are two questions we have about the money. Is Dolzaev paying Desperado out of his own pocket?
And if not, then who is?
Duh. We do not know size of Dolzaev's war chest, only that he has some funding. Insurgent does not always mean the dirt-poor guerrilla with the hunting rifle and homemade bomb. Some rebel groups are very well funded. In Arab oil nations, for instance.
Right. They have benefactors who share the same ideology.
There is also a chance some other party is backing Desperado directly, creating conflict for their own reasons, like the Patriots used to. Many groups stand to profit from wars, yes? Not just PMCs. Arms maker, contractor. Perhaps it is this kind of corporation behind him.
The oil interests alone could make billions here.
Duh. Already this violence so near the Abkhazia-Sochi pipeline is affecting markets. An interruption in the pipeline would shift the balance of power between the world's oil giants. Whether it's Dolzaev's goal or no, many groups stand to gain a lot of money from this mess. Ryder, I have been thinking. What Sundowner said. How peace in Africa was a problem for him. Do you remember?
Yeah. Doesn't sound like somebody fighting for an anti-Unmani faction, does it? The Prime Minister definitely had his detractors. Anyone in that position would. But he listened to them, treated them fairly. There was no real injustice for the opposition to rally around. So the rival factions never got that popular or that well-funded. There's no way they could afford all this.
But it does not make sense for Desperado to be acting alone here either. Even if they trigger full-blown war, there is no guarantee they would get the contract. Perhaps this is about natural resources? The last civil war was over precious metals.
You think big business hired Desperado to shake things up?
Who can say? At least it has not grown into a real civil war. Yet.
We need to figure out who's at the root of all this if we're gonna end it.
But knowing is only half the battle. It is the other half that will get you killed.
Well, no matter what, this mission has a nice side benefit. Putting a dent in Desperado will screw whoever's backing them too.
Our focus is to help the Abkhaz people. But if we hurt those responsible for this on the way, well, so be it. A cyborg equipped with a slider. Hard use.
Ryder, head for the oil refinery.
Ok, ya lo he escuchado. Sí.
By the way, I picked up something interesting on that tilt rotor back in Africa.
Desperado's getaway vehicle? What do you got?
I traced its registration. It comes up as a get.
Así esto lo he
Why, I
escuchado.
mean, and there've been these most of. What?
Sí, eso está en el video anterior.
Looks like Desperado brought some sliders.
It does indeed. As you know, sliders are more than a simple unmanned combat aerial vehicle. They are especially effective when used in tandem with cyborgs.
So I hear. Just strap it to your back and you've got yourself a jetpack.
In terms of specs, it is equipped with two small engines, turbojets modified from anti-ship missiles. These are capable of putting out 3 kilonewtons of propelling force. its high aspect ratio wings are built with artificial muscles. Their bending functionality enables both helicopter caliber hovering and a lengthy flight duration when fully deployed.
But what about offense? They can't pack much heat.
Not alone, no. The sliders were built from the ground up in a network-centric system. As a result, each individual craft has limited combat ability. Toughness was sacrificed for its compact size, which limits its ability to move at high speeds or perform high-G maneuvers. Flight range and time are strictly limited. Not being a fixed-shape craft, it has little stealth functionality. As for weaponry, it is restrained to one of two options: semi-active laser-guided rockets, or a combination of 30-kilogram class unguided bombs and 5.56mm mounted gun pods.
But I thought it played a major role in SOP, in regional conflicts and asymmetrical warfare.
It did. When all connected in a networked mesh, they enjoy extraordinary situational awareness. Such a group can search a wide range without missing a single millimeter. Not to mention, saturate a hot spot with gunfire from multiple angles.
Snake had trouble with them in Eastern Europe.
But their most attractive feature? How inexpensive they are to manufacture. Unthinkably so, in fact, back in the age of manned fighter jets. It's no surprise PMCs use them so often.
Yeah? Well, they're gonna have to spend a lot more than that to stop me.
With your legs, you can probably reach a slider even when it's up in the air. They have nearly no armor at all. Get close enough, and chopping them down should be simple.
Okay.
Looks like Desperado brought some but what about...
Not a look which flight as...
But
it did such...
Snake.
But unthinkable...
Ya. Ajá. Vamos a ver qué aquí bueno. Una cosa, aquí también. Ay, tienen un tipo, chico, un tipo ahí, un inocente. Ay, qué rabia. ¿Cómo será que les caigo?
You gotta be pretty stupid to try and hide here. Looks to me like Russian spies.
Hey, we are just...
Well, we can't let them give away our position. Waste them. We'll fill out the paperwork later.
No, please, I will do anything.
¿Me mataron? No. A ver.
You gotta be pretty stupid to try and hide here.
Ay, Dios
Looks to
mío.
me like Russian
¿Qué
spies.
hago?
Contact!
¡No! Ay, ¿cómo será que hago? ¡Qué rabia! ¿Qué será que hago para salvar a este tipo? Aquí tengo 4 granadas, granada electromagnética. Pero será que con eso puedo. Granada normal. Vamos a ver si con esto será. A ver.
You gotta be pretty stupid to try and hide here. Looks to me like Russian spies. Hey,
¿Dónde está,
we are
pues?
just... Well,
¿Cómo tiro
let
esto?
him give away our position. Waste him. We'll fill out the paperwork later.
No entiendo, ¿cómo tiro la granada?
Anything. Enemy sighted.
Esa es verdad, esa es la vía. Definitivamente, ¿no? Vamos a ver, bueno. A ver. Sí, tengo que usar la granadita.
Pretty stupid to try and hide here. Looks to me like Russian spies. Hey, we are just... Well, we can't let him give away our position. Waste him. We'll fill out the paperwork later. Look.
Ya vivo el tipo. Vamos a ver si puedo acercar en paz. Wow. No está fácil, no está fácil. Vamos a ver si puedo desde aquí. Ay, lo mataron. Ah. Pues de tanta cosa, igualito lo mataron a todos. Ay. Vale, vamos a ver. No está fácil. Primero esto. Esperar que vengan aquí los dos bichos. Un poquito más. Para que les pegue a todos.
You gotta be pretty stupid to try and hide here. Looks to me like Russian spies. Hey.
Listo, me falta este. Bueno. Chévere. Vamos a ver cómo llego a los que están aquí arriba. Vamos a tratar de aquí. Venga, cómo hacer para otro. Excelente. Está el tipo. Que me falta. Ah, no, pero ¿qué pasó? ¿Le salió este? Ahí, está. Voy. Ya. Ya más. Ok.
Yes, Raiden. Хорошо. That's one less death today. Now, on with the mission. Raiden, let's recap your route.
Shoot.
First, continue this road. There are...
Head for the...
Ooh, nice work, buddy. In the nick of time, huh?
What was that civilian doing here, anyway?
No idea. Maybe he's just curious. Or maybe he's with the refinery. That plant's the biggest thing this city's got going. There's practically nothing more important. If he works there, he is probably losing it right about now.
Either way, he's either foolish or crazy running around here by himself.
Well, he's not your problem anymore. Better get back to the mission. Raiden, head for the oil refinery.
Raiden, did you...
Yeah. Good thing I got here when I did.
I'm, impressed, Raiden.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now if you'll excuse me.
Huh? Oh, right. The mission.
Doc, that wolf UG. You think it's possible to repair...
Why do you ask?
Just...
Well, assuming whatever...
Wait.
I'll see what...
Of course.
But let's just... Because if that...
Indeed, neural hardware.
So-
Normal this process. I couldn't if it.
So it's...
I cannot. I would have made.
Glad...
You saved my life. Thank you.
Vale. Ah, ok.
So that's where they're holed up.
Some kind of electronic lock on the gate.
Most likely it opens only if you have the right ID data stored in your left hand. Perhaps you could find a cyborg with access and borrow it?
You see any cyborgs around here, Doc?
Why not double back? Check the vehicle route again. You know, back at the entrance to the old city. Who knows? Maybe you can hitch a ride. Most likely, platoon commanders carry correct ID data for the gate. Use enhanced mode to figure out who to hit.
So I get past the gate and into the hotel. Then what?
This road ends at the hotel. Enter and you should be able to reach a hill from the roof. That hotel was used by the nomenclatura, high-ranking Communist Party bureaucrats. All destroyed now, of course, but in Soviet days, full of luxury. Anyway, you should be able to reach a hill from hotel roof. There are more Soviet ruins past that hill. Get through there and you will reach the rear of the refinery.
Head for the hotel roof. Got it. So I get past the gate and...
This road, that hotel, all this... Anyway, there are...
Head...
You'll need to score an ID if you want to get through that gate. Head back to the old town entrance.
By the way, I picked up something interesting on that tilt rotor back in Africa. I traced... I wonder...
Why, I mean, and there
Aren't they...
They were... There've been these... Most...
Ah.
The enemy cyborg's ID information is embedded into the memories in their left hands. Most likely, that's what the gate is scanning for. Depending on your ID, you would only have clearance for certain gates.
Convenient.
No more fumbling around with a pocket full of card keys. But you must cut off a left hand before it explodes, or else the ID will be erased.
And then it's back to square one.
¿Estará? Ahí está.
Right. You missed them all? Well, you just have to fight your way through.
Puedo devolverme. El brazo izquierdo. Era este. Espera. Vamos a tratar de reiniciar de último punto de control. Vale. Brazo izquierdo es este. Vamos a ver. Bien.
Bravo! Excellent work! There was classified data embedded in that hand. It appears that man underwent modification at a Patriot facility, just as you did.
Qué bueno.
So I get past the gate and into the...
This road that hold anyway. There are more.
Head.
Ride it. Head for the oil.
By the way, I picked up something interesting.
Desperate.
I traded.
Why not? Meanwhile, and
Aren't they?
they were. They've been these most.
Check your destination on the Soliton radar.
Ok. Otra cosa. Una granada siempre es importante. Sí. Resetear. Porque todavía queda un aire.
It looks like they've deployed upgraded cyborgs, and equipped with blades, no less. I'm sure they've been trained well with them. Be careful, Raiden. Parrying a single strike means nothing if they land a combo attack on you after. These cyborgs can cycle between machetes, rifles, whatever the situation demands. You can deflect bullets in a ninja run, but do not let your guard down just because the enemy is far away. It looks like grenades are standard equipment for these cyborgs. Of course, you will want to avoid taking any blast directly. In combat, positioning is everything. These cyborgs are seasoned professionals. Do not be surprised if they block an attack or two. Just keep striking, and perhaps their guard will break down. Self-repair units are housed in cyborgs' lower torsos. Strike at the lower abdomen in blade mode to seize the unit. Stick to quick slashes when you are surrounded. They leave you less exposed, so you can change tactics as you move. You can also string attacks together to keep your enemies off balance, yes? It looks like they've and equipped with
Sorry, buddy. I got nothing right now. Maybe try asking Doctor or Bo.
You okay, Raiden? Save complete. Be careful, Raiden.
It appears they have sent in specially enhanced cyborgs. That armor is quite a bit tougher. It will take more than a single strike in blade mode to dismember them. Start with a barrage of attacks. If you can weaken them sufficiently, eventually you can cut them open. That armor is made from standard-grade composite carbon nanotube material. It should offer little resistance. You can likely slice them up in blade mode before they can even touch you. Of course, blade mode cannot be activated unless some charge remains in your fuel cells. The last blow in a combination attack or a particularly strong hit will sometimes leave your enemy exposed. If you enter blade mode right at that moment, it will be even more effective than normal. Land a flurry of strikes against the cyborg and his brain-machine interface may malfunction. This will take him momentarily offline. The same applies to UGs as well. Strike often enough and their AIs become unable to keep up with the required real-time processing. Make that happen, and you can enjoy a decisive advantage. Assuming you have sufficient power, you could even enter blade mode and finish the fight right there. No matter how strong their armor, getting knocked offline leaves them completely vulnerable. It appears they have sent in specially enhanced cyborgs. It would...
So I get past the gate and into...
That hold is anyway. There are more...
Head...
Raiden, head for the oil rig.
Stay vigilant, Raiden.
What's up? Okay, save complete. Don't let your guard down, okay?
Dulzaev. That woman.
Raiden, what's happening? Your heart rate's spiking.
Yeah, I just dodged a bullet. All right, I'm heading for the refinery. Boris, I got a visual on Dulzaev and Mistral. Looked like they were arguing over something. Mistral's heading up the force at the refinery, correct? We're sure on that?
Yes, but I'm not sure how good a commander she is. As a fighter, talented, yes, I know, but...
Well, neither one looked very happy. Maybe she'll withdraw.
Oh, I doubt that. She may not like him, but she will follow her orders. She is just the leader on the ground here, I think. Someone else is calling the shots behind cover.
All right. But what's the end game here? Say I die and we can't stop them. Then what? Are they even capable of forming a real government? Do they think the people here would support Dulzaev?
Good questions, Tovarich. History shows it is a much easier thing to take a government than to keep it. An unpopular regime can only ignore the will of the people for so long before they rise up. And trying to do all this with PMC soldiers? Difficult. And very, very expensive.
Someone else must be bankrolling this for their own reasons. Someone with very deep pockets. Who stands to benefit the most from all this?
Most likely someone with an interest in that refinery. The plant has pipelines connecting with Sochi in Russia and Supsa in Georgia. Crude oil from the Caspian Sea is refined in Sukhumi and then sent on to Russia.
Oil. I wonder if Dulzaev knows he's being used. Then again, I wonder if he'd even care.
What do you think Dulzaev and that woman were discussing? Even your ears could not catch it, huh?
No. Even enhanced hearing doesn't help when it's too far for sound vibrations to travel.
A pity they were outdoors. We could have deployed laser surveillance unit if they were inside, near window.
Yeah, maybe if conditions were perfect. I'd have to be lined up just right to get the beam directly in front of the glass. And there's the problem of noise, too.
Duh, true enough.
Anyway, not much point talking about it now. Better I just head over there and wrap this up.
Of course, of course. I only wonder because I have no idea what Dulzaev is thinking. The more intel we have, the better.
Relax, Boris. Once I take out Mistral, the rest will be easy.
Let us hope so.
Hey, Boris, I know this probably isn't the best time for this, but...
No problem. Ask me anything. My goal is to have open company, huh? Hiding nothing from its employees.
Right, well, there were a few big proposals we had in the works, right?
What do you mean?
You know, my doing tactical drills with the Brazilian Special Ops Force in Rio, playing the bad guys in that South African anti-terror police training program, on-site security consulting for the Swiss.
Yes, we were working on a few things, weren't we?
Well, I thought so, but they're not in Maverick's task management database.
Well, right then. We've had to freeze those proposals. Temporarily, you see?
You're putting them on ice?
They would be too much distracting for you. We need to focus on current op.
That doesn't seem necessary. You're gonna disappoint a lot of prospective clients.
Well, yes, but...
This is about Inmani, isn't it?
I should not have tried to hide it.
Right. Open company, remember?
Well, yes, but we can't afford for you to be too shaken to complete your mission.
Boris, I'm fine. I know it's not all my fault, but my client was killed. Kinda expect to lose some work after that.
Yeah, not your fault, but my responsibility in the end. We were far too lightly equipped. No one on the field made mistakes.
It's a third world country. We were working with a shoestring budget. If we went in heavier, burning Maverick cash, we'd have been in the red.
And that is the tricky part about this business, yes? But what is past, and too early to worry about the future. Just focus on the matter at hand.
Okay.
What do you think Dolzaev and that woman were this even?
No.
A bit.
And there's the... Anyway, better I just...
I only more...
Relax.
What?
You get all that, Kev? The woman with Dolzaev. That's Mistral?
Yep. The only female member of the Winds of Destruction. The name is from... a cold, dry regional wind in France that blows from the Alps down to the Mediterranean.
She French?
Yep. Born in Algeria, though. It was a French colony until they declared independence in the early 60s. Haha, but you already knew that.
Yeah. They were the last French colony in Africa.
You know your history. Plenty of French colonial families still live there. Billets noirs, they're called.
I've heard the term. The main character in that Camus novel, The Stranger, was one.
You also find a lot of Algerians who've immigrated to France, although they put a stop to that a while ago.
Yeah. A lot of European countries seem to be clamping down on immigration lately.
Mistral joined the Foreign Legion to get her citizenship.
A woman legionnaire?
And not the first. There was one that served in the North Africa campaign during World War II. Anyway, Mistral's been doing PMC work ever since her Legion discharge. We're not sure why she went cyborg. She's officially leading the force at the refinery, but she is also a combatant. Don't have anything on her combat style, but do not underestimate her. The Winds of Destruction are trained killers, all of them. They didn't let her in because of her looks.
I don't need a reminder. I won't let my guard down.
Yeah, but, speaking of her looks, she's got, well, I mean, a couple of, huge... Look, just don't get distracted, okay?
Sounds like you should take your own advice there, Kev. So, Kev, what exactly goes on here, anyway? I mean, obviously refining oil, but what else involved with that? How careful do I need to be?
Skip that week in science class, huh? All right, how much do you know already?
Just the basics. They take crude and refine it into gas and stuff. Other usable fuels, right?
Well, yeah, and stuff. Kerosene, liquefied petroleum gas, naphtha, jet fuel.
Naphtha?
The raw material for ethylene, which is then the raw material for polyethylene and other plastics. Crude oil's used for a lot more than just fuel, you know. These days, it's the core component of just about every chemical product.
Okay.
Crude contains a lot of molecular hydrocarbons and impurities. The refinery distills and extracts these hydrocarbons at their different boiling points. Once the impurities are removed, what's left can be used to make gasoline and so on.
Right. So, pretty much exactly what I said in the first place.
Oh, well, if you know all this already, I guess we're done here.
I could use a bit more detail on...
All right, cool then. Kevin out.
Hey, Kev. You have anything on that sword Sam was using? Didn't seem like your garden variety high-frequency blade.
It's not. It's a samurai sword. The real deal. 16th century make, handed down in his family ever since. Sam had it recast as a high-frequency blade. Doesn't say by who.
Is this something I need to worry about?
Maybe. You know the basics of sword making, right? The harder the metal, the better it cuts, but also the more brittle it is. So a sword's gotta be sturdy, but also just pliable enough to absorb shock without breaking. Walking that line, striking that balance, that's what makes sword crafting an art. Japanese swords fuse different types of iron, each with different amounts of carbon. Different levels of flexibility, in other words. So the blade can be tough and razor sharp.
And that gets multiplied when the sword gets the HF treatment?
Yeah. Basically, the high-frequency upgrade sets the blade vibrating really, really fast, right? That vibration acts on the electron shells of atoms in the sword and the local electromagnetic field. When the EMF achieves resonance, the blade's bonding is strengthened. At a quantum level, it's like the entire sword is made up of the exact same particle type. It also disrupts any atoms it comes into contact with. Say, those that make up the target. Their electron clouds shrink from exposure to quantum decoherence at the Planck scale. In other words, it electrically severs the bonds that keep the target's atoms together.
You lost me around the EMF part.
And that's the dumbed-down explanation. To be honest, even I don't understand all the details. Point is, an HF upgrade is like an amplifier. It multiplies what's already there. So Sam's badass blade might give him the edge. I mean, you know what I mean.
The original sword was really that good?
Sounds like it. Says here it's a Murasama blade.
Murasama. Sounds familiar.
One of the top 10 best-known sword makers worldwide, easy. In Japan, he is legendary. They say his swords thirst for blood, that they choose who will wield them, you know, that sort of thing.
Ooh, now I really am scared.
I know, right? Raiden, head for the oil rig.
Raiden, you need to save?
Did you catch all that? With Dolzaev and Mistral?
Yeah, I was monitoring the whole time. Dolzaev's not really what I expected. I've seen his file, plenty of photos, but I guess I expected someone more, I don't know, threatening?
Didn't seem too friendly to me.
No, I mean, you hear terrorist, you think of some cold, calculating professional. Dolzaev looks more like some guy off the street.
Cold, calculating professional types don't usually bother with terrorism. It's too risky. Most terrorists are ordinary people, radicalized one way or another.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of course, that doesn't make what they do any easier to forgive. What about Mistral? What'd you think?
Well, she's certainly attractive. Probably an artificial face, though. I'm guessing most of her is artificial.
Roger that.
No.
So Mistral's from Algeria. Have you ever been?
No. You?
Once, for a consulting job. Pretty short trip, though.
I hear it's pretty safe there now, compared to how things were at the start of this decade.
Yeah, I was able to slip a little sightseeing in. Pretty nice spot for a vacation. Kind of hot, though. 80% of it's the Saharan desert, and wow, it was just like you'd imagine. So much sand. You could easily imagine camel caravans trekking beneath the early evening moon. It was like something from another world.
Yeah? I thought only a sixth of the Sahara was sandy like that. The French carried out a bunch of nuclear tests there too, I remember.
But once you reach the Mediterranean coast, it's a totally different place. All these white-walled buildings framed against intense blue sea. It's a really stark contrast.
Were you in Algiers? I know that the capital looks a lot like that.
Yep. The local cuisine's totally French-influenced. I'll never forget this one lunch near my hotel. A baguette sandwich and a café au lait. Simple and simply unforgettable. Oh, there were a bunch of sweet shops in town, too. High-quality European candy, but so cheap.
Sounds like you ate your way across the country.
Well, food's an important part of local culture, you know. Oh, and speaking of which, the seafood. I didn't expect to see Mediterranean fish in African cuisine, but it was also fresh and flavorful. They'd fry up small fish whole, then drizzle them with lemon juice. I could have eaten that all day.
Sounds like a lot of calories.
I tried to stay active, you know.
Hey, did you know my visual analyzers can tell me how much someone weighs?
Yeah, I'll have to talk with Doc about disabling that one.
Nunca me había percatado.
Raiden, what you said before about your sword being a tool of justice, I just want to say I agree 100%. I wish all PMCs thought that way.
Glad to hear you say that.
You mentioned it was part of some samurai code?
Yeah. I didn't grow up using a sword. I fell into it by chance, during a mission. After that, I decided to train with the HF blade. I studied a lot of samurai techniques. I really got into it. Started learning more and more about ancient Japan and the samurai code. I tore through stacks of books, movies, anything I could get my hands on.
Somehow hard to imagine you settling in with a big bucket of popcorn.
What? A cyborg can't have hobbies? I'll have you know I'm actually a huge movie buff.
Okay, okay. So that's where you picked up this Sword of Justice creed?
Yeah. Most of it from a single master named Munenori Yagyu. He founded a school of swordsmanship on the idea that violence can be necessary for the greater good. He called it Katsujinken, the life-giving sword. Yagyu believed power isn't evil in itself. It's how it's applied that matters. As time went on, Katsujinken incorporated deterrence. It took on the meaning of winning without fighting. Or as I like to say, one sword keeps another in the sheath. That's from George Herbert. He was an English priest, 17th century, almost the same era as Yagyu.
Huh. It's a universal idea, I guess.
You could frame the same message as use of a necessary evil, but I think it's a good mindset for any PMC.
At least as long as there's fighting that requires us in the first place.
Which doesn't seem likely to change anytime soon.
What's up? No? Did you need anything else?
No, guess not. Just wanted to hear the sound of your voice.
Oh, save it for your wife, Raiden.
Raiden, the Mistral woman. Is she truly a full-body cyborg?
That's what the intel says, at least. Why? You notice something?
Indeed. Two somethings, in fact. Based on their movements, her chest region did not appear to be artificial.
You can tell that just from what I saw?
Indeed. After some detailed image analysis, I am 80% certain that is her own natural torso. If it is indeed a cyborg Jessie, it is the most advanced I've ever seen. Such technology would not come cheap. It would mean whoever is backing Desperado is likely quite wealthy.
Probably so. As far as Mistral goes, it really doesn't matter to me. Natural, synthetic, man, woman, an enemy is an enemy.
Ah, are you not even the least bit curious?
Yeah.
Doc, I'm seeing Desperado cyborgs explode here after I take them down.
For security purposes, I would imagine. Cyborgs often use classified tech from suppliers who take great pains to maintain their trade secrets. Most likely, these models have a self-destruct failsafe that triggers once they cannot defend themselves.
So they die even though their brains could be transferred to a new body?
I understand your concern, Raiden, but I'm sure these conditions were clearly stated in their contracts. This is one area that is well regulated by the law. PMCs must inform their workers of such things. These men knew the danger when they signed up. No doubt they were compensated for the additional risk.
Right.
You should be more concerned with the potential for data loss in these explosions. They could damage or even erase the holographic memory in their left hands. Though to think on it, the data is most likely automatically wiped before detonation, just in case it would survive the explosion and resulting shockwave, you know.
Yeah. Sure, Doc.
You must remove the hands before their critical system shutdown sequence can activate. Remember it this way. Before you kill, make certain no cyborg is left with a left hand. Raiden, have I told you of the research I was conducting before we met?
Several times.
It was the Cold War. East Germany. Ah, the DDR. My field was infantry weapon research. It was a magical time. Secret research. Top secret, you know. All for the Soviets, but so exciting. I was free to explore wherever my findings took me. I never had a budget request refused. Not once. I was young then. Working, always working. Most nights I would sleep under my desk, you know. Call it nostalgie, but East Germany wasn't so bad. Nostalgie being German for East nostalgia, of course.
Of course.
Yes, the bureaucracy had its problems. But my colleagues, the discoveries. Ah, well, in any case, after unification, they suddenly shut down our entire facility. Everything I'd worked for, my job, my research, poof, gone just like that.
Sounds rough.
I've often said I would be a homeless vagrant if myoelectric prosthesis hadn't lent me a hand. Artificial limbs were crude props then, you know, designed only for appearances. They were hardly functional. If you lost an arm or leg, you were disabled, and that was that. The key was running actuators based on electromyography signals from the skin's surface, of course. This enabled a great range of movement, even more so than a natural limb. It was then I realized my knowledge of robotics and engineering could come in handy. So, I contacted a prosthesis laboratory in Dortmund, and I was hired immediately. Patents filed in my name made quite a bit of money, you know. Soon I was made the head of my own lab.
And that's when you started filling orders from PMCs.
Indeed. From contractors who'd been referred by their employers, to be exact. Workers from your industry quickly became our best customers. We were flooded with orders. But my field was never full body conversions. You can imagine my surprise when Boris contacted me.
Yeah. Our previous cybernetics maintenance guy went into hiding.
But I built on my knowledge and now consider myself an expert on all cyborgs, both partial and full body.
Glad I could help with your on-the-job training. Seriously, though, we're lucky to have you on board.
Yes, I should think we have both benefited from our arrangement. Which reminds me, do not forget our other arrangement. The cyborg's left hands, if you would.
Got it.
Está difícil.
Raiden, the Mistral woman. Is
That's why.
indeed based on...
Sí,
Indeed, if
sí,
it touched
ya
it.
sé,
Probably
lo sé,
Spark.
no eran falsos. Ya lo he hecho una pata vez. Vale. Sí, pues allá. Espera, ¿cómo fue que se dio cuenta que yo estaba aquí? Entiendo cómo se dieron cuenta que yo estaba aquí. Sí, sí. Mira aquí. Este sí tiene el brazo. Tenía el brazo, yo no piqué el brazo. Tenía su brazo izquierdo. Entonces vamos a ver. A ver, puedo reiniciar. Sí. Ajá. Llama la atención que... Bueno, ¿qué pasó? Ah, se me acabó la pila. Dios mío, no puedo parar. Ah. Sí. Se me acaban las pilas de control. Bueno, de nuevo. Espera. Ay, coño. Qué vaina, ¿y el brazo? No cogió el brazo otra vez. Rabia. No cogió el brazo. Ah, qué rabia, qué rabia. Vamos a otra vez. Sí, porque estaba de brazo. Dale, dale, cónchale, no cortó. Ah, qué estúpido. ¿Qué fue eso que cogió? Que pesé. Otra vez. Vamos a hacerlo sin mucha vuelta. Está. De este tipo. Ah, vaina. Se fue peor. De verdad, qué estupidez. Otra vez. Ajá. Ok. Dale. ¿Qué pasó? Las vainas. 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 Oh. Pero qué fastidio, tener que reiniciar 20 veces para hacerlo bien por un brazo estúpido que no me hace falta. Bueno, si hace falta si quiero hacer las cosas bien. Dale. Dale. Ok, vamos a hacer lo mismo entonces aquí. Ajá, ok, si lo doy así, ok, te cayó el brazo.
More classified Patriot information was in that man's holographic memory.
You are good.
Boris, what have we got on that recoilless launcher Desperado's using? Looks custom made for cyborg use.
Agreed. Most likely based on the Lag 2. US developed to go after the Russian market share of conflict zone munitions. It uses mostly plastic parts to keep costs down. Thanks to that, it has been very popular.
So not designed to help national defense, but the national economy. Made purely for profit.
That is one way of putting it, yes. What you saw must be an altered model, modified inside the company's private armory. Did you see how it was equipped with magnetic locator? That is some very clever customization. The gun is mostly made of plastic, so very little interference is picked up by magnetic sensor. Hell of a payload, too. Heat MP. Definitely anti-cyborg. Even you'd feel the blow from one of those.
Any countermeasures?
It uses an inertial fuse to maximize the formation of the shaped charge jet. Cut off the warhead while it's still in motion, and it will not detonate.
So slice it up in blade mode and I'm safe?
Take this seriously, Raiden. You may have 2-kilo explosive charge and 1,000 ceramic flechettes flying at you at any time.
Yeah, but it's not very fast out of the barrel, right? Shouldn't be that hard to avoid.
They can hit more than just you. Avoid collateral damage at all costs. Strike before they do. Do not let the enemy launch these. Neutralize them first.
Copy that. Boris, what have we got on that recoil? It looks...
Agreed. US, it used...
So-
that, what did you... They got hell. Even...
Any-
It
so-
stake. You may...
Yeah,
They can...
copy.
Sorry, buddy. I got maybe try.
Raiden, you need to save?
Sí, dale.
Did you catch all that? With Dulceyev and Mistral?
Yeah, I've...
Did-
No, those...
Code,
Yeah.
of course. What about...
Probably...
Raiden, the Mistral war.
That's with why.
In the base, and if it's such...
Problem is far...
Ay, cayó encima. A la vaca esta de carrito. Ay, ay, ay. Está. Qué vaina, no lo veo. Listo. Limpio. Nada. Tipo ahí. Madre. ¿Qué tipo? Oye. Nada especial. Pareciera que apenas especial. Pícalo. Brazo derecho. Brazo derecho. Brazo derecho. Vamos a agarrar. Hay una. Aquí más bichos. ¿Por qué no abre? Necesito que empiece a abrirlo. ¿Qué hice? Lanzó una granada. Pero los tipos están ahí mismo. Ah, sí. Ese tiene un brazo. En serio. Qué vaina. Ay, ¿qué pasó? Qué vaina. Ah. Ay. Ay, bueno. Sí, chévere. Ay, buenísimo. Lo cogí, ¿no?
More Patriot intel. Bring me more. And maybe I can develop something interesting, son.
Córtalo. Bien. Ah, tengo un lanzamisiles. perdió. Ya vaina si nunca lo pude abrir. No sé qué sería, que necesito para abrirlo. ¿Qué es esto? Cintura. ¿Sí? Ok. Pero ¿por qué no? Ah, necesitaba hacerlo. Interesante.
What do you think Dulcev and that woman were? Even your ears could not catch it.
No.
A bit.
Yeah, and there's... Anyway, better idea.
I only... The more...
Relax.
Let it...
Guidance, allow me to give you a recap of visual augment mode.
Why? Is it different from my AR display?
We'll get to that in a moment. Modern tech gives us the ability to display assorted information streams visually. This is accomplished by interrupting the data flow from a cyborg's optic nerves. This is referred to as AR, augmented reality.
That's how I can see my Soliton radar and who I'm talking to on the codec.
Right. But if too much data is presented in this manner, the user runs the risk of having an incomplete view of the real world.
Yeah. The codec window's got a bad habit of getting in the way when you drop in to chat.
Of course, of course. Typically, I'd simply call, leaving it to you whether or not to respond. In an emergency, however, that just wouldn't do.
Define emergency.
Anyway, cyborg AR designers try to keep the interface as unobtrusive as possible. But there are times when one really does need all that data on display. This is where augment mode comes in. Now, I know it sounds a bit like augmented reality, but just think of it as an additional dimension to AR.
Okay, fine. So what's it do?
It uses local Soliton radar and XIFF data to do things such as analyze and display enemy position and numbers. It also has a starlight scope and thermal goggle functionality for a host of night vision capabilities. The entire image is digitally processed, making it much easier to read than earlier thermal goggles.
Yeah, I'd noticed that.
Used in a well-lit area, your perceived brightness will be affected, but it won't hinder vision too much. The same type of sensor is used for all functionality. The data sent out by each one is merged together as part of the digital processing. All you need to worry about is turning the individual functions on and off. Simple, yes?
Sure, Doc. Simple. I'm seeing desperado cyborgs explode here after I take them down. So that...
This is... You should be more... They could go to Justin.
Yeah.
You remember?
Vale. Ajá, nada interesante por aquí. A ver, ¿qué tengo que ir?
We intercepted call for backup during your last fight. The caller's position is on your Soliton radar. You can engage if you wish. It is your choice.
Dice, puedo pelearme si quiero.
What do you think Dulceyev and that woman, even you...
No.
A big...
Yeah, and there's... Anyway, better right...
I only more in...
Relax.
Let us...
So Mistral's from Algeria. Have you ever been?
No.
Once.
I hear it.
Yeah, pretty nice. 80...
Yeah?
But all the...
Were you...
Yep. Oh, well, they...
Sounds like... Hey.
Yeah.
Vale, vamos ahí.
Up above you!
Ah, ¿qué tal? ¿Ya? Ah, pues ya se puso en modo de corte. A ver.
Chévere.
What do you think Dulceyev and that even...
No.
A big...
Yeah, and there's... Anyway, better right...
I only more...
Relax.
Let...
Raiden, have I told you of the research I was conducting?
Sir.
It was a magical... I would call it...
Love.
Yeah.
Sound.
The kid. It was the patent.
And-
in work, but...
Yeah.
But, yes, we should...
Got it.
Raiden, head for the oil...
Raiden, the cliff is just ahead at the end of the old city. Beyond that is the refinery's backyard.
So what? It's a sheer drop? The refinery's not connected to the city at all?
No, it was only built 2 years ago. There should be a narrow path around there that leads to the plant. It is protected by a fence, but probably you can cut your way through.
Probably.
Don't get cocky. Most likely it is Desperado running security down there. Good. That's the back of the refinery. I see a door there, but it probably has an alarm. Can you use the ventilation duct?
You mean that huge fan?
Just cut off the blades as it spins. Easy, yes?
We got anything on that ray I went up against?
We analyzed the wreckage. Its musculature had been replaced with CNT muscle fiber. The same type as you, or most any cyborg. This improved its power output and left more room in the chassis for other equipment. It seems they filled this space with Vetronics and extra weapons.
Like that heat blade and plasma gun. Plasma loses effectiveness in the air pretty quickly, but it's still a hell of a close-range weapon.
Large-scale UGs have a growing problem fighting smaller, more agile opponents like you, Raiden. This is why we now see UGs armed with new countermeasures, such as this ray had. Good. That's the back of the... I see it. Can you use...
You mean... Hey, so, Kev, buddy, about the refinery. Can I get a quick breakdown of the facilities?
Copy that. I suppose you should at least know a few basics for the mission. So, like I was saying, the refining process is based around distillation. The tallest building on site is the distillation tower. All the crude oil runs through there first, where it's distilled at different boiling ranges. Lighter components with low boiling points are removed at the top of the tower, heavier ones at the base. The heaviest fuel oil then has the lighter oils and naphtha that distillation didn't remove taken out. Fluid catalytic cracking is what they call it. Other than that, let's see. There's equipment to remove sulfur, a cooling tower to dispose of all the water used. Oh, and the flare stack to eliminate gas waste. You see that thing with flames shooting out the top? That's the stack.
It's burning the gas off?
Yeah, burns it up completely, rendering it harmless. Kinda hypnotic if you stare at it a while, huh? Next door you have a power plant. It's pretty typical for this type of facility. And of course the gas tanks. Liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, is pressurized and stored in those round tanks. It's also artificial, but it's got a certain charm, you know? Like the ultimate in utilitarian beauty. A solitary distillation tower, all lit up and set against the setting sun. It's an amazing sight.
Kev, you still with me there?
What? You don't appreciate this kind of stuff? Places like Germany and Japan, people get really into it. Factory sightseeing tours and everything.
Yeah. No, not so much.
Right. FYI, we just confirmed with the client for your next mission.
Great. How about we finish this one first, though? I'd like to see my family again someday, you know? My son's going to forget he even has a father.
90-day contracting tour, buddy. We're all in the same boat. Man, feels like ages since I was back in Virginia.
I don't know about in the same boat. These guys are out to tear me limb from limb. Worst you are EMF desk jockeys have to worry about are paper cuts.
All right. Guess you don't want to hear what your old friends are up to then.
Who is it?
Desperado.
Where is it this time?
Mexico. Apparently they've got some kind of lab in Guadalajara. You're going in to investigate claims of human trafficking and illegal dumping.
And our client? Who's picking up the tab? If we're planning to play police all of a sudden, we're gonna need some kind of budget.
No worries there. It's a human rights group we've worked with a few times before. They were conducting their own trafficking investigation when Desperado came up.
Understood. You can brief me when I get back.
Roger that.
Where the hell did Desperado get all these cyborgs anyway, Kev?
Hard to say. They're not as rare as they once were, but still. Of all registered PMC troops, we're still talking, what, 3% have enhancements? Maybe 5% tops. Mostly career military who got hurt on the battlefield one way or another. Getting their arms or legs back lets them keep earning a living. But most able-bodied soldiers are still reluctant to sacrifice their own healthy body parts. Plus, the surgery is highly specialized. Expensive as hell. Not to mention maintenance costs after that. Unless insurance is footing the bill, most guys couldn't afford enhancements even if they wanted to.
Maverick's got some cyborgs. What's their story? They all wounded in action?
Mostly. I heard a few saved up and paid for it themselves, but just a few. There is this one crazy blonde guy, though. I heard he asked for a full body conversion.
The Patriots didn't leave me much of a body to begin with. I just had Herr Doctor finish what they started.
You know I'm just giving you shit, man. Anyway, yeah. Looking at the numbers, cyborg soldiers are still a pretty small minority. Not really surprising when only contractors in developed countries are offered insurance. Third world soldiers get hurt out on the field, and that's all she wrote. They can't work as a merc anymore. Most times, they can't really work at all.
Well, Desperado's up to something, because cyborgs are definitely not in the minority here.
I've heard of some PMCs covering the cost of the surgery for their disabled. The mercs get their career back, sure, but the PMCs aren't exactly running a charity. These guys have to work to pay it off, until the company at least breaks even on them. Any cyborg breaks his contract early would probably be in debt for the rest of his life.
You think that's Desperado's MO?
I can't prove it, but sure as hell wouldn't surprise me.
So what kind of deal does Maverick offer its contractors?
Oh yeah, I forgot you're full-time too. You never contracted with us?
Nope. Boris invited me on board the first time we talked about it. We've known each other since Area 51. Didn't have any reason to turn him down, so yeah. Never really considered the contract route.
Right. Well, it's actually pretty rare for guys on the ground like you to be full-timers. Most of Maverick's soldiers are contractors, just like with any other PMC. It just makes sense. After all, it's never the same job twice in this business. Each mission has its own requirements. Force size, skill set, all that crap. So generally, we contract out on a per-mission basis, or a fixed schedule for longer jobs. A lot of US companies are doing it that way lately, not just PMCs. Besides, a good contractor can earn more than most regular full-time employees. Definitely a hell of a lot more than regular military.
And if they want to quit, can they get out of their contract?
Yep. Of course, just up and quitting right in the middle of a mission would cause problems. Just like any other job, you know? We'd want some notice to settle on a new end date, but hold up. You're not thinking of leaving us, are you?
Just curious. You still busy with all that other work, Kev?
You know me, man. Kev of all trades. I got a lot on my plate. Briefing prep, arms procurement, client negotiation, HR, biz dev, accounting, you name it. Lately, though, I've been focusing more on sales and on-site coordination. Oh, and advisor work like this.
Never sleep, do you?
Things have been better since Courtney joined up, at least.
You still busy with all that other...
You know, briefing lately...
Never...
Are you fully versed in the features of your AR display? It can serve many functions, you know.
Do I hear un lecture coming on?
A lecture? No, of course not. I'm hardly an expert. Of course, I know the first practical application of the technology was for aircraft HUDs. Then head-mounted displays, HMDs. The data could be seen even as the viewer moved their head. As the technology improved, it was integrated into retinal imaging, contact lenses. Soon it became standard issue not just for pilots, but infantry soldiers as well. Of course, with cyborgs such as yourself, the data can be fed directly to the optic nerve.
No lecture, huh? Anyway, there's more to my augmented reality than just upgraded HMD tech.
Of course there is, Dummkopf. You did not let me finish.
Oh, you weren't finished?
AR is a much broader concept. It is more a design concept than a particular imaging methodology. It encompasses HUDs, HMDs, any and all manner of visual real-time data overlay. Though recently, some reserve the AR label for virtual objects the subject can both see and touch. For example, your codec menu and zoom slider. Such objects do not exist anywhere in the real world, not even as images. They are fed directly to your optic nerve, so only you can see them. Yet, when you interact with them, sensory feedback is delivered to the nerves in your fingers. It gives you the sense of touching a thing that does not exist.
Beats lugging around a sat radio and giant scope, that's for sure.
There is another school of thought on precisely what constitutes AR.
Seriously, more of this?
It defines AR as anything which obscures the boundary between reality and that experienced by the viewer.
Well, how would that be different from VR?
Well, for example, let's say that you and I are having a nice chat face to face. Suddenly, I disappear. Poof! And in my place appears a ravishing, nubile young woman. Is the girl the projected image or the reality? Perhaps I was the AR. How would you know?
The accent might be a clue.
Such things can be controlled with a simple hack of your auditory nerves.
Well, that's comforting. So how is this different from VR again?
Well, I suppose, strictly speaking, it is rather similar. Both are a method for completely fooling the senses, rather than simply augmenting them. Although, technically it would be MR, mixed reality, since there are some real elements involved. Yes, of course, that would be the distinction and the correct term. In any case, the advance of MR technology leads to many interesting philosophical questions. What happens when appearances cease to have meaning? It is no longer see it to believe it, after all. It could make for a great advance in cyborg acceptance, you know. They could project a perfectly normal human body to be seen by anyone who can perceive MR.
I don't know. Sounds like it might cause more problems than it'd solve to me. Hey, Doc. What can you tell me about the carbon nanotubes used in artificial muscles? I know they're the real key behind the proliferation of cyborgs, but...
Well, a carbon nanotube, or CNT, is a sheet of carbon graphite formed like a tube. They range from 50 nanometers in diameter all the way down to under 1 nanometer. 1 nanometer, you recall, is 1/1 billionth of a meter. Quite small. As you've likely seen, the carbon atoms that make up the sheet are organized in a 6-point ring shape. These hexagonal structures are connected to each other along the edge.
Sort of like a soccer ball.
Precisely. Such structures are known as Buckminster fullerene. CNTs were discovered by accident while scientists were researching other fullerenes. CNTs have assorted properties, each with the potential to drive vast leaps in industrial technology. Consider, for example, that the conducting properties and resistance to strong currents far outclass copper. They have great mechanical strength and can be shaped into incredibly thin form factors, all of which can directly contribute to improving integrated circuits. Further, it is also quite elastic, making it ideal for bomb-proofing vehicles.
Sounds like some kind...
There have been numerous plans drawn up for orbital elevators, and you can change their structures by using the right power voltage. They feature a large surface area and an end. It's that particular trait which has enabled the development of fuel cell-infused artificial muscles.
Straight out of sci-fi, huh?
Well, truth is stranger than fiction. Science fiction, even. Scientists are currently expanding upon all of CNT's uses. But it has taken a fair amount of time since their discovery for practical implementations to pop up. Historically, mass manufacture was deemed too difficult, the costs astronomical.
Practical manufacturing methods were established in the early 2010s, but the Patriots hushed that up.
Indeed. And now that it's out in the wild, we are finally well and truly in the carbon nanotube age. You must continue along, Raiden.
Sí, gracias.
Raiden, what you said before about your sword being...
Glad to hear.
You meant...
Yeah, after I told... What?
Okay, so...
Yeah, he thought Yagyu as... or as...
At least...
Which does...
La espada antes. ¿Está quemador? No lo veo. No veo quemador ni veo nada.
Good. That's the back of the refinery. I see. Can you use the ventilator?
You mean...
¿Ya? ¿Qué es esto? La ¿Está?
Watch out! They keep on coming!
Ah, vaina. Teclado, qué vaina. Qué vaina. Ahí la broma. Y este. Ah, vaina, me va a explotar. Se me cayó el teclado. Qué vaina. Sí, con la bendita. Se me ha caído varias veces esta vez. disculpa, se me desconectó la barra espaciadora. Bueno, programar. Que yo las tiré todas, que crea. Mientras estaba aquí viendo esto, tiré todas las granadas de... no puedo creer. No podía tirar... no podía tirar otro tipo de granadas, tenía que haber tirado esa.
Dolceev and his team must be in here. Find him.
So who actually owns this plant?
On the books, a private Abkhaz firm. In reality, the Russian state.
So all the money goes right back to Russia?
It does provide Abkhazia with fuel and electricity. But yes, it was clearly built for Russian interests.
How do you mean?
The Caspian Sea is a major source of gas and oil. But these days, most of it never passes through Russia. Not since the Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline was built. With it, the oil flows straight to Europe.
But that pipeline runs straight through Georgia. Why did the Georgian government allow it?
Money, of course, and power. Having a major pipeline run through your land brings plenty of both. The South Ossetia War taught Georgia they could not always rely on the West for support. They began working more with their neighbors in the region to build their own power base.
So Georgia stands to gain from this coup?
It would seem this way. Any scenario that ends with the refinery no longer under Russian control is good for Georgia. Even if they do not retake Abkhazia outright, they benefit if new regime is more friendly to Georgia. Perhaps this is Dolceev's idea, to attract Abkhaz political leaders with a pro-Georgia agenda.
And that's why Georgia isn't taking action?
I very much doubt Georgian government would be involved in anything so obvious and so reckless. There must be someone else behind all this.
And Dolzaev's just playing along? Why would he?
Revenge, Tovarich. Anything to hurt Russia. Perhaps money as well. Who knows?
Yeah, the Russians can't be happy about all this. Let me guess. They contacted you through the FSB, right?
There were conversations, yes. But it was the Abkhaz government that enlisted us. We only took this mission because we knew it would help the people there. Besides, we cannot leave Desperado unchecked. Not after what happened.
Right. I won't let them profit from this mess. And we need to learn who's backing them.
And the first step to do this is take back that refinery.
Qué broma con esto.
So who actually owns this plant?
On the book,
So
it does.
How do you mean?
They cannot.
But that-
This.
so-
Any. Perhaps.
And that- and-
Perhaps.
Yeah, let me
We all decide.
Right.
You still busy with all that other work, Kev?
You know, lately.
Never.
You know, I have to hand it to you guys. Cyborgs are just amazing to me. So much power and speed.
It's not all gravy.
No? How so?
Well, things have improved a lot in the past few years. But back when I was modded for the first time, keeping artificial blood free of impurities was a huge hassle. Artificial muscles need a constant flow of oxygen from a blood source, just like the real thing. But it was a challenge getting the kidney units as small as they needed to be. We all had to undergo routine dialysis.
Sounds rough.
Used to be even worse back when Dr. Clark was still experimenting. Bad nerve connections would screw with the test subject's pain receptors. It was torture. Compared to that, I had it pretty easy.
It wasn't until recently that you could eat and drink like normal people, right?
That's right. We generally use glucose-based nutrient packs to keep the brain running. But we can absorb nutrients orally now, too. Whatever we eat's broken down by nanomachines, and we have taste sensors as well. It's not exactly like it was before. The difference is, I can turn those sensors off if I don't need them. That's been surprisingly useful.
So cyborgs can live pretty much normal lives now?
Well, getting there. We still need fuel cells and nutrition packs, not to mention regular maintenance. It's a lot of dough. Of course, another big problem's how other people look at you.
How do you mean?
There was a time when I wore artificial skin. Tried to look as close to normal as possible. I've still got some now, on my face. The tech at the time wasn't great. You still looked pretty unnatural. Maybe you could fool someone from far away, but up close, even a baby could tell I wasn't human. Going out shopping or whatever, you could feel all those eyes on you. I tried to find something to do other than fight, but looking like I did got me 2 strikes pretty much as soon as I walked through the door.
That sounds terrible.
Well, you appreciated it when people were honest about it, at least. But when they were too polite to just say so, that was rough. Things are getting better these days, though. Artificial skin's improved a lot. And you don't get so many stares now that the general public knows about cyborgs.
Maybe I should look into the cyborg thing, huh? I could eat whatever I want, whenever I want.
Probably cheaper just getting lipo, Courtney.
Jerk.
Check your destination on the Soliton radar.
Courtney, there's something I'd like your opinion on.
What's up?
It's how I replenish my electrolytes. I'm basically feeding off these cyborgs.
Oh, yeah. That. I don't really see any better options, to be honest. I doubt your old body would have stood up against the Desperado captains or Jetstream Sam. And if we fail here, it's not only bad for us, but for our clients, and all of Sakumi.
Yeah, you're right.
Besides, it's like you say, no one's forcing them to be here. They chose to throw in with the terrorists.
Yeah.
I won't lie, I don't feel great about it. But in the scheme of things, yes, I think it's justified.
Thanks. I guess it's never black and white in this business, is it?
No. No, it's not. Do you and Kevin work a lot together, Raiden?
Well, Maverick's not that big. Unless you're a short-term contractor, you tend to work with the same guys. Last job we were on together, I was hired by the Carabinieri to track down 3 Albanian mafiosos. They'd fled Italy for Montenegro, and I had to bring them back. It wasn't easy. All 3 of them had cybernetic upgrades. Without Kev, I could have been in serious trouble.
He was with an NGO before Maverick, I think, handling disarmament work for the UN.
Yeah. He and Boris met while working together to resolve a conflict in Africa. They hit it off. So when Boris gave him a job opportunity, he took it.
I kind of wonder why. We're pretty much the opposite of a disarmament outfit.
3 things are needed after a conflict: disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration into society. That's the way it usually goes. I guess Kevin felt like the process was getting to be a joke. Even if the UN taps the group that caused the conflict for post-war cleanup, there's no way of ensuring their sincere cooperation. There's always a chance they'll underreport the number of soldiers they've got on hand.
That, or they only disarm the useless parts of their force. The ones with outdated weapons and gear.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they can hide their standing force, the one with all the up-to-date weaponry, from the UN. Afghanistan saw a lot of that, since the wars were all waged by rival military cliques. Anyway, Kev saw that happening on a daily basis in Africa. Guess he just wanted a job where he had a firmer grasp on what was going on. And then along comes Boris. Kev had to think it over for a while, sure. But, well, here we all are.
PMCs are going to need more people like him. And me too, I guess. You know, civilian viewpoints.
Couldn't agree more.
What's up? Okay, save complete. Don't let your guard down, okay?
cámaras esas de carrizo. Espada le doy. Me boté todas las... No tengo más armas. Ah, sí, tengo dos misiles. Un poco como que excesivo, ¿no? Sí, pero funcionó. Y yo creo que hay como que más cámara.
Who actually owns this plant?
On the
So
it does
how do you,
the get not
but that
the sub
so
the any perhaps
and that's why
a verb
and
perhaps
yeah. Let me guess.
we also
Right.
the
Ok, ya sé qué coño es.
You still busy with all that other work?
You know, briefing lately.
Never.
Stay vigilant.
What's up? Okay,
¿Qué
save
risa es
complete.
esto?
Don't let your guard down, okay?
Siento que igualito me va a agarrar cuando pase por esta puerta que no existe. Va a sonar alarma.
Raiden, wait. There are active IR sensors in the area. Part of factory security, no doubt, but the enemy may be using it.
So who actually owns this plant?
On the book,
So
it
how do you,
the get not
but that
this
so
any perhaps
and that-
a verb
and the-
perhaps
yeah. Let me guess.
we also
Right.
the
You must continue.
Está mejor ese must continue.
Raiden, your infrared camera is integrated with enhanced mode.
No sé cuál será el modo Enhance. En serio. Ah, vale, ¿cómo hago para destruir esa cámara de carrizo? me vi aquí. En serio. Ah, qué vaina. Dale, dale. Ay, faltó matar a un bicho que... Gracias.
So who actually owns this plant?
Ya lo he escuchado 20.000 veces. Hay una manera de pasar esto.
Perhaps this...
And that... And...
Perhaps...
Yeah, let me get...
We all decide.
Right.
Duh.
You still busy with all that other work?
You know, briefing lately.
Never.
Check your destination.
Vale. Algo más que me falta por aquí. Sí, más infrarrojo, más cámaras, más todo. Tipo como una... El Paco tiene un brazo. Qué vaina. Viaje. Vamos a guardar.
What's up? Okay, save complete. Don't let your guard down, okay?
Vale. Sí, tengo que cocinar. Así que por ahora